An update to the breaking news we brought you. Henry County Sheriff Frank Castle and 19 others, including sheriff's deputies, have been arrested. This is a news conference with the U.S. Attorney's Office. We expect to hear from U.S. Attorney John Brownlee. Let's listen in live.
Good morning, and thank you all for being here today. I'm pleased to be joined today by the Superintendent of Virginia State Police, Colonel Steve Flaherty, FBI Special Agent in Charge Charlie Cunningham, DEA Special Agent in Charge Sean Johnson, Bob Martin, Assistant Inspector in Charge, my Criminal Chief Tom Bondurant, and Assistant United States Attorney Andrew Bassford. This week, a federal grand jury for the Western District of Virginia returned a 48-count indictment charging 20 individuals, including 13 current and former members of the Henry County Sheriff's Office, a former probation officer for Henry County, and a former employee of the United States Postal Service, with multiple violations of federal law, including racketeering, illegal narcotics trafficking, theft of firearms, possession of stolen firearms, money laundering, making false statements, perjury, and obstruction of justice. The grand jury has returned a speaking indictment which details specific conduct alleged by the grand jury. I'd like to take a few moments to discuss the history of the investigation and the indictment. According to the 48-count indictment, since 1998, sworn officers, employees, and associates of Henry County Sheriff's Office engaged in a continuous scheme to steal illegal drugs, firearms, and contraband from the seized evidence property room. The defendants took cocaine, crack cocaine, marijuana, and firearms, and then sold the stolen drugs and guns back into our community. The grand jury has also alleged that several of the defendants stole seized firearms and other contraband for their own personal use. The grand jury has alleged that 7 of the charged defendants, including 4 former Henry County deputies, conspired to commit multiple acts of racketeering. The grand jury has alleged that 6 of the defendants, including 4 former deputies, conspired to illegally distribute ketamine and steroids. In addition, Carlton Riley, a former probation officer for Henry County, has been charged with illegally participating in a cocaine deal. The grand jury has alleged that 13 of the defendants, including 8 current and former members of the Henry County Sheriff's Office, lied to federal agents and to the grand jury, encouraged others to lie to federal agents and to the grand jury, and obstructed the investigation. Now I'd like to give a brief summary of how the investigation started. On March 4th, 2005, agents from the Philadelphia office of the DEA notified DEA agents in Roanoke that an express mail package containing 2 kilograms of ketamine was being delivered to a residence in Martinsville, Virginia. Ketamine is commonly used as a date rape drug. DEA agents made a controlled delivery of the ketamine to the Martinsville home and arrested William Randall Reed. Officials charged Reed with illegal possession with the intent to distribute ketamine. Reed agreed to cooperate and told investigators that the home where the drugs were delivered was a rental property owned by James Alden Vaught, who was at the time a sergeant with the Henry County Sheriff's Office. Reed said that he paid Vaught in both cash and ketamine to use the residence as his drug drop. Reed also said he helped Vaught sell 2 kilograms of stolen cocaine that Vaught had seized from a drug dealer while on duty with the Henry County Sheriff's Office. Reed said that a deputy with the Henry County Sheriff's Office by the name of Brad Martin had also been jointly using and selling ketamine and steroids for nearly 8 years. Once confronted with this information, Sergeant James Vaught resigned from the Henry County Sheriff's Office in March of 2005 and agreed to cooperate with federal investigators. As a part of the investigation, Vaught spoke to investigators about his role in these offenses, and he also agreed to covertly record conversations with many of the listed defendants in the indictment. Vaught confirmed the allegations made by William Reed and also revealed that the rental property in Martinsville was used by several officers as a place for extramarital sexual relations. Vaught further confessed that he, Deputy Brad Martin, and Deputy David King engaged in several illegal transactions involving the distribution of cocaine, crack cocaine, marijuana, and steroids. The grand jury has alleged that David King, who was once the supervisor for the Vice Unit and a school resource officer for the Henry County Sheriff's Office, illegally took drugs seized by the Sheriff's Office and then falsified destruction orders for the drugs. The stolen drugs were then sold to Wilbert Brown, Ronald Trantham, William Reed, and others. It is estimated that multiple kilograms of cocaine, ounces of crack cocaine, and hundreds of pounds of marijuana were stolen by these officers and then resold for further illegal distribution. Also, the canine handler for the Henry County Sheriff's Office, Walter Hairston, periodically received seized narcotics in order to train the county's drug-smelling dogs. The grand jury has alleged that on approximately 10 occasions, Hairston took the seized cocaine and marijuana and, rather than using it for legitimate training purposes, gave the drugs to Vaught, who then gave it to others for further illegal distribution. According to the indictment, Cornelia Cox, Major James Keaton, David King, and Patrick Martin stole firearms, money, electronic equipment, illegal drugs, and other items from evidence that had been seized by the Henry County Sheriff's Office. It is further charged that Robert Adams, Wilbert Brown, Harold Franklin Castle, Cornelia Cox, Candy DeShazo, Walter Hairston, James Keaton, David King, Stephen Preston, and Ronald Trantham attempted to obstruct the federal investigation in several ways. All of these defendants made false statements to federal agents, and some encouraged others to make false statements. When called upon to testify before the grand jury, at least one of the defendants lied under oath. In addition, a few of the defendants disclosed sensitive law enforcement information to their co-conspirators in order for them to avoid detection and arrest. And finally, all of the current and former members of the Sheriff's Office violated their oaths as law enforcement officers by ignoring and condoning illegal activities. On one instance, in 2001, a DEA agent from Texas called the Henry County Sheriff's Office to advise them that a drug ledger had been seized that indicated shipments of illegal drugs were being delivered to one Brad Martin in Martinsville, Virginia. The DEA agents in Texas did not realize that Brad Martin was a deputy with Henry County. Brad Martin took the call and shared this information with his fellow deputies, David King and James Vaught. The grand jury has also alleged that Sheriff Castle was advised of this illegal activity and chose not to take any action. The grand jury has also alleged that Sheriff Castle was advised of various illegal activities involving the Henry County Sheriff's deputies. These illegal activities included the distribution of 2 kilograms of cocaine by Vaught and others, the embezzlement of money by Vaught, and the use of steroids by several members of the Henry County Sheriff's Office. The grand jury alleged that Sheriff Castle covered up these illegal activities by not pursuing investigations and by agreeing to pass on sensitive law enforcement information to the offending parties. In this way, Castle assisted these defendants in avoiding detection and arrest. The grand jury also alleged that Castle made false statements to federal investigators and attempted to aid James Vaught in a money laundering scheme to disguise the source of money represented to have been derived from the distribution of cocaine. As to the money laundering charge, the grand jury has alleged that on February 24, 2006, Sheriff Castle attempted to help Vaught give $10,000 of known drug proceeds the appearance of legitimacy by co-signing for a loan for Vaught so that Vaught could launder the drug money. Castle counseled Vaught to deposit small amounts of the drug money into a checking account to pay off the loan. In addition, the grand jury has alleged that Castle agreed with Vaught never to mention the existence of the drug money and then lied to federal investigators saying he knew nothing about Vaught's illegal drug activities. We anticipate that today's charges may